Rahul did, I couldn't do that. Privileged. You sit in the center, sir. All right. In terms of numbers, longest serving Indian captain, over 100 plus international games. And I did some estimates, sir, it may or may not be right. Over 1,000 games if you include the club games. Hopefully I got that right.
I think so.
Super honored to be here. We're going to kind of keep this session. Bhaichung has requested that we have to keep it interactive, which means I need all your help. I've never played football in my life, ever. Let me disclose that. That's why we have our in-house residential football expert, Rahul, also joining. My questions will borderline sound like a therapy session, sir. I think I'm going to kickstart this directly into a high gear question. That is, you have taken through BBFS football to places unimaginable, like small towns, cities, villages, and so on. And more importantly, you've done that with two co-founders whom you worked with for 15 plus years. I have worked with co-founders myself, and I know how rewarding it is at times and how challenging it is at times. So would love to hear from you.
So BBFS is Bhaichung Bhutia Football Schools, and we started this, say, 14 years ago. And two of my founders and my partners are, in fact, they are from IIT Ahmedabad and IIT Delhi. So three of us started this. The idea to start BBFS was about, because I went through in my younger days when I wanted to play football with friends, get some good coaches to train. And I could see a lot of my friends as well not getting that opportunity to train and play around. And during my end of my professional career, when I was retiring, I planned that I wanted to do something. So towards the phase end of my career, I started BVFS. And the idea of starting football schools, football academy, was to give that opportunity to a lot of young players across India to come and play, get coached under good, qualified coaches, and have friends to play around. And especially bigger cities, because once obviously India changed as well economically. So a lot of bigger cities, there were kids who wanted to play but had no opportunities to play, no playgrounds around, no coaches. So I think what the main reason was to start was to give opportunities to kids to come and play.
That's fantastic. And what sort of challenges you faced in India, everybody knows cricket is like a religion. How did you kind of navigate the ecosystem so that you make football popular?
The biggest challenge was to find grounds, and it was difficult because a lot of football grounds were owned by schools, so to convince schools to come and have a tie-up and do a football program was a big challenge because we obviously did not have our own football ground, so everything was under schools or government. So getting tie-ups to get those grounds was one of the biggest challenges. And yes, once the grounds were tied up, we had a couple of schools in Delhi which we started off with. And one or two schools, once we did it, I think then the word spread across. And kids were not a difficult thing because there were a lot of kids who wanted to come and play. Just the challenge was to get grounds. And good for us, I think one of the biggest, because during my football career, I was for a very long time associated with Nike, and Nike did come forward to sponsor us with grassroots football program. And then I was very lucky to meet Mr. Carlos Queiroz, who was Manchester United coach and Real Madrid and also Portugal national team coach. We did an association with Mr. Carlos Queiroz, football schools in Portugal, and brought that kind of football learning, which was in Portugal, which produced some of the biggest footballers in the world. So we brought in coaches from Portugal to start off with. And I think that's how we started all of, at the beginning. But the challenge obviously was to find grounds. And slowly, I think it's picked up. Now, today, at least, I feel proud that we are the biggest grassroots football program in India. We've got 5,000 kids training all across India. And we've got at least 10 to 14 players have gone on to play for India in different age group. And some have gone on to play for India senior team. today, if I look at ISL and I-League, we've got almost 30 players that have graduated from BVFS and are playing professional football across India.
I think he wants to ask a technical
To
question.
be super honest, I'm starstruck right now. I'm getting goosebumps just sitting this close to you. So to go back into your childhood, I mean, how did you pick up football, and maybe talk about your experience of entering the Salt Lake Stadium, maybe with a Mohun Bagan jersey or an East Bengal jersey?
No, I think if you're born in Northeast and Sikkim, only one thing you do is play football. Otherwise, in Northeast, you do either music or you play football. So I chose to play football because the culture for football is so big, and also because in Sikkim, every villages, when I come from a very small village, though I went into boarding school from very young age, but every village, there was football tournaments, inter-village tournaments. So we grew up watching. My dad was, those days, a panchayat. He was a panchayat of that
Okay.
village. So he organized a lot of football matches within his village as well. So I used to watch him. My elder brother was highly talented footballer with, I feel sorry for him because I don't think he got anything near to kind of opportunities and platform what I got. But seeing at what he was when I was small, I think the talent he had, I feel he was highly, highly talented than me. But I think for me it was great because I grew up in that environment, going and watching my brother play, elder brother play, my dad organizing all this village tournament. So that's how I picked up football, and I never thought that I'm going to play professional, go on to play for India, but it was pure passion and love, I think I started.
That's amazing. Anything about the experience of playing the Kolkata Derby?
So, Kolkata, I came into Kolkata football when I was 17 years old, and I just finished my ICSC, and that's the time East Bengal came up and gave me offer because I had just played under 16 India, because I was given a scholarship from Sports Authority of India, and I played Subroto Cup, Inter-School Subroto, where I was noticed and selected for India under 16 team. And through that, East Bengal was one of the biggest, and is the biggest club in India till today as well. And that's how the offer came in. And I don't know if people are aware here about East Bengal, Mohun Bagan. I think,
Oh, yeah.
Calcutta football, it's mecca of Indian football till today. And when you play for East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, you're not just playing for a club, you're playing for identity as well. Because East Bengal, Mohun Bagan has got a history, because Mohun Bagan feels that they're the original Bengalis, and East Bengal, they say that they're the ones who come later on. So that identity, you're playing just not for the club, you're also playing for their identity and legacy. So, that's the prestige issue they have between East Bengal supporters and Mohun Bagan. So it's a big, big honor to play for both the clubs. I played for both the clubs, and it's been a great, great, fantastic experience.
That's genuinely great to hear. And it's also important for us to recognize that he was the first Indian to have a professional contract with any European club, right? You want to talk about your experiences with Bury?
Yeah, I think I played in India with East Bengal and then JCT as well. And I had also played for Indian national team by then. So I wanted to obviously, wanted to challenge and also make sure that once you play at the highest level in India, you want to do is something go a little further. And that was when I thought of, playing abroad somewhere. And England was where I got the opportunity to go for trials. So I signed my contract with Bury FC. Before that, I went with trials with Fulham and West Bromwich Albion, which with West Bromwich Albion, I think things were working out so good, but unfortunately, there was a bit issue with the club and I couldn't sign. But overall, I think, it was wonderful. I would have been more happy getting into a different club, but since it was Bury, I did sign. I was thinking that it's a start. Maybe you can slowly climb and get into bigger leagues after that. But a lot of things don't go according to plan. But overall, I think I had a great experience.
Perfect.
Let me ask you one question on sort of your process. This afternoon, we all took a master class on performance. And one of the things that the instructor said is you go through sort of a process regardless of what is the outcome. Like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you stick to the process, right? What can you educate us? What do you go through before a big game? And what happens if the outcome is not what you expected? It'll be great for us to listen to that.
No, I think with any sports person around the world would always say process is very, very important, because for football, it's a team sport. And we train every day, every single day, every morning as a team to make sure that the match which we play or the tournament which we play, we want to go and win. So every day you're doing that process despite the result, but what hard work you put into the ground is what you go and do it on a match day. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that, World Cup comes once in 5 years, European Cup, which is happening right now, comes in once in 4 years, 5 years. And there have been players who, like, for example, I think Messi won it in last World Cup in Qatar. And before that, he's missed out on 4 World Cups, went on to finals as well.
Okay.
So there are moments when players put in their hard work, put in everything to win a trophy, which comes out of 4 years, 5 years, go to the finals and lose out. But good thing is it gives you an opportunity to come back. And I think that's the great thing about sports, because what you've done in last game, people don't remember. I think what you're going to do in the next game is what people would look forward to it. So I think process is very, very important. You've got to put in that hard work every day and night out, and then once you perform, you get your results, you're happy, but sometimes you don't get those results. But that doesn't mean that it's over, because sports gives you that opportunity to come back and you change the results. So yeah, whatever you've done mistakes in your last match, I think it's important to learn from it.
What is sort of your routine, if I may ask? Like, they say Ferrer comes,
Right
like,
now, I think my routine is bad because I've retired.
no, before the game.
But when you're playing, I think routine was, I played mostly in Calcutta, 15, 16 years in Kolkata, and then I was 3 years in England, 2 years in Malaysia. But when we played in Kolkata, our training used to be early in the morning because of the heat and the weather-wise. So 7 to 10, we were always training, and then evening we had gym session and all that. When I played in England, our training started at around 11, 10:30, 11. So the routines used to change, but yeah, at least 4 or 5 hours, you always put it on the ground. Again, with football, there is seasons. You have pre-season, which is very, very important. That, I think, takes 6, 7 hours. But once the season starts, once the football season starts, league matches starts, then you are also looking at not only putting so much into training ground, you also look at recovery, and you cut down your training, so you're more working tactically. So it depends on the pre-season, season, and the rest off-season as well.
Got it. Awesome. I know Rahul and I will keep asking questions. You want it to be interactive. Maybe you should take a question from the audience. Yeah, please. Oh, there are so many. Yeah, as he's passing the mic, I have one doubt. In cricket, right, like people just run away if it just drizzles a bit. But in football, I've seen like people just keep playing even if it's pouring rain. How do you train your mind?
I think that's the best part of football. Whether it's rains or sunshine, you keep playing. And I think the best of footballs actually in India happens during the monsoon time.
Got it.
And we've grown up playing in muddy, slushy grounds. And I think that's where the fun is. But yes, when it comes to professional organized football, I think you need proper pitches. But yeah, I think right
Training.
now with the quality of grounds in India and abroad, I think it's very different. You can still play with heavy rains as well. But when we played, I think we didn't get that opportunity. We were not fortunate enough to get that quality ground. So I played in Kolkata Maidan grounds where it's muddy, slushy, and footballs were not even rolling. So, but again, it's got different charm on that.
Awesome.
Here.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Okay. So Bhaichung, one question, right? I mean, we all say that India is a cricket crazy country. But if I look at 1956, 1960, right, India was fourth in Olympics, right? So it used to beat France, Spain, Sweden, countries like that. And today we are probably out of 100 in FIFA ranking. What do you think? What is the primary reason we are not able to do what we used to do earlier till probably 1960s? And so that's one question, right? Is it more only on funding or skills, football skill, athleticism? Because I don't think we have any problem as far as the core football skill, right? We had so many players, yourself, Sunil Chhetri, previously Chuni Goswami, PK Banerjee, Surajit Sen Gupta, so many, right? So That's one question. Second question is on the funding side, right? So I think you recently, you were there in competition for AIFF president, right? So I think more people like you joining football, I think will help, right? So these are the two questions I have, if you can answer.
So yes, I think India during 50s, 60s were top footballing nation, but I think we've stayed where we were in 1960s there, but other countries have really put in a lot of work in terms of football, and I think it's really grown. And football over the years also have changed quite a lot in terms of, I think almost it's the only global sport in the world today. And if you look at the countries right now, you see each and every country playing football. And the standard, I think what we had in 1960s, we've not really changed with the time, but the other countries have really they've changed, they've put in a lot of effort, they've developed a lot of players. 1960s, I'm not trying to be unfair to ex-footballers, but I think the competition level, what it is today of football was in terms of nations playing. If you look at today in Asia, you've got only 4 places to qualify for the World Cup. So you've got to be in top 4 to qualify, and Australia comes and plays in Asia to qualify for the World Cup. So you've got entire Gulf nation, which is the biggest footballing nation today, and they own some of the biggest clubs across Europe and across the world. Those days, I think there were not many. UAE, Qatars were not playing so much. Saudi might not have been so big as a footballing nation. Today, look at smaller countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, even Singapore, Thailand. The number one sport is football. Even in Southeast Asia, if you look at South Asia, today Nepal, I think slowly cricket is catching up, but football is number one sport. Bhutan, football is number one sport. Maldives, football is number one sport. Bangladesh used to be football, but now cricket is taken over. So I think it's totally a global sport. The challenges and difficulties are much more. But yes, that doesn't give us an excuse to not do well. But I think we've not been able to really change ourselves, put in more investment, create that culture of sports in India. And sadly, I think right now when you look at football in India or any general sports in India, we're not getting kids to come out and play. We don't have many open spaces for just to kids to walk in and play in that open space. If there is open spaces as well, they don't have something like football to play with, or a cricket bat and ball, or a hockey thing, or they have friends to play with. I think that culture has to be created. And whenever I speak of football in India, we need to follow Africa and South America style of football, because if you look at South America and Africa, economically, culturally, we are quite similar. In terms of infrastructure as well, compared to South American countries and India, we are quite similar. But the culture is so much. The kids in those areas, say a locality or somewhere slums in Brazil or Uruguay, kids are just coming out and just playing and competing. There's so much of culture for the sports there. And that's what we need, a lot of, kids. And I think in India, if you look at most of the sports person across the world, I won't say everyone, but including India, comes from very humble background. And they are the ones that have hunger to succeed. If you look at all the footballers, top footballers around the world, from Ronaldinho to, Pele to Maradona, these guys come from all humble background, and they've just played football through passion and love. And that culture, they've grown up.
Got it.
I think that is where we need to create that culture. And second thing, I think what he was asking was...
I think people like you will elevate the game.
Yes, again, I think things are changing a bit in India in terms of sports. It's good to see a lot of sports person now coming and heading federations, and PT Usha is heading Indian Olympic. So we've got other players heading different, cricket, football, not cricket, hockey and other things, which is a good thing to come in. But at the same time, I think we need to bring in right people with right knowledge as well. In India, somehow or the other, there is always a political interference, whether it's state or a federation. There's always an interference through politics, which is, I don't mind politicians coming and heading the federation, which is, if they can take the game forward, it's fine. But we need, I think, committed people in the grassroots level. When I look at my own state, Sikkim, and I look at Northeast, which are supposed to be very good in sports, you need to have committed people in the state and the district associations. And if you don't have right people, because footballers are going to come from district and state, they're not going to, federation is not going to produce. All the players would come from your district, rural areas, village areas. And if people working in those areas are not sincere to promote and take the game forward, then it becomes very, very challenging for any young, talented village kid who wants to play football, who's got so much of talent, would never get that platform. And we would lose out a lot of talented footballers because the state and the district guys who runs that football associations are not sincere in promoting and giving that opportunity and giving that exposure to the kids. Because they don't want to conduct tournament, they don't want to do coaching, training, clinic, camps. And when you don't do that, then you lose out a lot of talents.
One question I have is like, what is sort of your success rituals that you follow? Do you wear the shoe in a particular order? Like, they say that it's not just big training, but those associated rituals that go into a psyche of a champion. What can you tell us? The basics.
First thing, I don't know if how you define success as well. So it depends from individual to individual, because I don't see myself saying I'm a very successful footballer, because if I say I'm a successful footballer, I should be like Messi or Ronaldo or even more than that. So for any, I think, sports person, again, as you said, it's the process. And for me, it's always been, because you played sports from very childhood, and when I grew up in Sikkim, whenever we played inter-school football tournaments, inter-school used to be such a massive, big tournaments. You had entire school kids coming and supporting your own school team. And in Sikkim, when you played inter-school football finals, they used to be like, it's like East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, almost between two schools. There had to be police people coming and sitting in between two schools so that the schools don't fight out. So you've grown up on that kind of environment where, even in school tournaments, you had that kind of passion for school, your friends and your school, entire school comes to support, and there is a lot of, even kind of, not riots actually, but a lot of kind of fights and all that. So when you grow up like that, it gives you that experience to be competitive, but it also gives you that thing of always looking forward to it, because sports is one thing I keep saying everywhere, that it gives you opportunity. Whether you fail or whether you succeed, you always look forward for your next game. And I think that's where, whether I scored hat-trick or whether I scored 6 goals or whether I lost 7-0, that's something which you take it, but always you look for the next game. And
how humble is this guy? Like, being a champion says that he's not. Like, unbelievable. That's a big lesson for us, sir.
I think you look forward, you look for the future matches is what I think it kept me going.
One more question from the audience. One gentle reminder, only one question per person.
Hi, Bhaichung.
Hello.
My name is Anand. Just wanted to ask one question, and I would let you decide how long you want to answer. We are talking about motivational skills and leadership skills throughout this confluence for the past couple of days. Just wanted to check with you, when you grew up, it was a very harsh reality that there was very less motivation towards playing soccer. What were you thinking in your formative years to grow up to be a footballer? And just give some instances so that we can take anecdotal references from your experience and then use it probably within our teams, within our organizations for the years to come.
Thank you.
So for me, I think I've been very fortunate. Like, I know a lot of my friends and my senior players going through and listening to their struggles to become footballer. But my, I think, story, I've been very, very lucky in terms of knowing my friends and some senior players. Because I was lucky to first get scholarship from Sports Authority of India when I was just 11 years. I think that's the year when I was 11, Government of India came with Sports Authority of India scholarship scheme, which they were giving scholarship to all the sports person at that age group in different sports. And I happened to be in football and I got that. And that was one of the main reasons why my parents allowed me to play football because my education was taken care by Government of India
That's
through
awesome.
football. Otherwise, I don't think they would have allowed me to play as well. And so that made me play because I got scholarship. So that made me take up football, which seriously my parents were quite willing because then they were not, they were not willing. They were obviously not taking care of my studies because I was given a scholarship. And then I went on to sign for East Bengal, and I finished my class 10, and my dad said, the only thing was if you want to continue playing, that I need to do my studies as well. And obviously my father had no idea what East Bengal, Mohun Bagan were, because Sikkim during those days, they had no idea about Indian football or world football as well. But my uncle, who was a bureaucrat, convinced him that I should go and sign and play. And my contract with East Bengal in '93 was that they make sure that I go and do my 11 and 12. And that was how my father let me go from Sikkim to Calcutta and become a professional footballer, which did not last long because I just went for 3 months. After that, I couldn't do my studies further, so I had to give up on that. So, yeah, and that's how I think, my journey started in terms of that. And yeah, what was the other thing you wanted?
I think you answered it. This is a room sort of full of dreams, and pursue their dreams on an ongoing basis, right? Daily basis. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail. What do you think the top 3 sort of champion mindset that we should keep in mind?
I'll just complete that as well. I think, when I now look back, and it was nothing to do with about what you want to do, and it was just entire passion and love for the sport, and that really made me take this, because in between when I was doing my school in Sikkim as well, I went and played Subrot, and I went on to play for India under 16. And that is when, after that, the bigger clubs started noticing, and I got the offer. And it was pure passion and love for the sport. And obviously when the offer came, I was very, very excited to play for East Bengal because I knew how big a club it was. And if my father did not agree as well, I know that somehow I would have gone and still played with. So I think it comes down to passion and love, because today whenever I go to meet kids, I have football schools, and when I meet kids and a lot of parents ask about it, the main thing I say to all the kids across is you need to enjoy the sport. Mm-hmm. Don't try and become Messi, Ronaldo, Sunil Chhetri. You need to love the sport. If you love the sport, you are willing to work hard. You're willing to learn. But if you're just trying to be somebody and trying to be a billionaire, becoming Messi or a Sachin Tendulkar or MS Dhoni, then I don't think you're going to fulfill. I think you just need to love and play with passion, play with heart.
Awesome.
And then I think success is something which comes in. So I think that's what your answer as well. I think 3 things is, I don't think you should have anything. Whatever you do, I think it is, you need to do it from your hearts. And I speak on a lot of, corporate events, and I meet a lot of corporates who are there, and everyone, I feel sorry because a lot of corporate who are into corporate world, my age, which is 40 plus, a lot of them come and speak that I was a great footballer, I was a great cricketer, but my parents did not allow. So it's very unfortunate because they didn't get that kind of support and encouragement. I'm sure they were as talented and great, but I think Indian culture those days did not have so much support for the sports, and I'm sure we've lost out a lot of Messis in India into corporate world. And you won't believe...
There is one right there.
Yes, again. And 2 days ago, I'm covering Euro Cup for Sony Sports, and 2 days ago, I went and played football with Tiger Shroff, just friendly, and they wanted to play. And believe me, I think, if Tiger Shroff had played football, he would have easily played for India. I played with him 2 days ago, and the talent he had, the kind of skills Tiger Shroff's got, being an actor. And you feel sorry that it's football's loss, it's a movie's gain, but you could see this guy can play football. And if he had really taken it professionally, I can assure you that looking at what he's playing right now, he could have easily played ISL and may go on to play for India as well. But sadly for sports in India, that's the scene, because we don't get that kind of support from your own family, and then the society. I think things are changing now, but hopefully I think it'll get better.
Rahul, kindly stay with us.
Though anyway, I think it's already too late now. So I think it's better sticking in where you are right now. If you were 16, I would have said you can give it a chance. But now I think
I think we have like 20
he
seconds.
can go into coaching though, and that's never too late.
Yeah, he's handling the ball pretty good. All right.
I think your corporate team, your office team, I think you can start playing as well, start doing the coaching part as well with the team.
All right, we have some time. The big boss has approved 4 more minutes. I think one of the challenges that I personally wanted to ask this question, if time permits, is when you assemble the team, right? So you know some of them are going to have very active role, some of them are going to have sort of a passive role, right? But all are equally important. It's like a complex orchestra. The end music is the most important thing. In your case, the output is very critical. Is there any different message you give to different roles within the team? How do you assemble that team?
So for a football team, I think it's a completely team sport. I think football is only, when you say a lot of other sports which are team sports, but football, hockey, basketball, there's a few which are completely team sport. For a team sport, I think that's where you have managers and you have coaches. And managers and coaches, especially in football, I think they have complete free hand in selecting the players they want to play with and the team they want to build in. And how do you rate a successful manager or a coach is also their talent in identifying the talent and making sure that, because football is now become very tactical and you've got different formations. Some team plays 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. There are different tactical formations. Now it's become more like a computerized. So for any successful coach to identify the talent is the most important thing. And that's why you'll see the best and the most successful coaches are the ones who identify the talent and get the right talent combined to make a good team. And that is the skill I think not everybody can have it. That's why coaches like Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola, and some of the greatest coaches are known to be the greatest because they know the talent, they know the players, they know their system, and they get the players into the right system. And that's where I think it's very important. I've never been a coach because I felt that I could not do that job. So I've never gone into coaching as well because 36 years of my football, I said I want to do something different from football because I've got one life, so I've done half my life in football. So second thing was try and experiment doing a lot of other things, which I'm doing right now.
Got it.
Also, I'm doing football grassroots, but I'm also doing a lot of other things apart from football. So I want to experience that. But coaching and being a coach, to make that team, I think is one of the most difficult thing. And I think that's where to form a team, I think, again, it's like, maybe like a corporate in a company, your CEO or the directors selecting the right person who is a great marketing guy, select the right, there are hundreds and thousands of marketing guy, but to select the right guy for your product who can bring in the right ideas, I think that's the talent where coaches will have to have, and that's where the most successful coaches is because of that, spotting the right talent, they've become more successful.
Super, sir. Thank you. One last question. Keep it very short, please. We have only 1 minute. I think he asked first itself, so yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhaichung Bhutia, for coming. My just simple question is, over the 2 days, we're all talking about 10x, 20x growth for GCC. What do you think about 20x, 50x for Indian football to be successful? And do you think we are going to reach to the level of Europe in next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Or what are the different things really in base we have to change in terms of players like you, the citizens like us, government initiatives? What are these things which has to come together to achieve these things?
It's difficult to say what's going to happen to Indian football in 2030 or 2047. But I think each and every one of you who are here today, I think has got important role to play. Is go and encourage your kids to go and play sports or play football. At least support that. That is what an individual can start off with. If not support it, at least start watching sports. Start watching any sports on television and create that environment and culture in your house that your kids and everybody is watching sports and there's something which try to create that atmosphere, sporting culture inside the house. I think that's everybody can contribute to that. I think, as I said, with football, we need to follow a South American kind of a culture, where for us the challenges are on infrastructure, a lot of things. But I think we need our kids to go and enjoy football, give them that access to play. A ground anywhere, it doesn't need to be 11-a-side, it doesn't need to be a great ground. Any open space, few friends and football to play with. I think if you create that passion and love and make them compete, I think that's where we start getting into it. And I think every government will try to do their own bit to promote sports, but it will have to come from every individual. And we need to create that culture for sports in India. At the moment, I think we're all still not, we're there, but I think if you look at 20 years ago and now, I think sports and football is changed quite a lot in terms of you've seen more kids playing, and you speak to any lot of sports channels across India, they say that today football is watched, more kids are watching under 14 age group or under 16 age group, kids are watching football more than any other sports, including cricket as well, which is a great data for Indian football. So hopefully we can turn that into playing them on the field. More the kids play, more the talent is going to come, and hopefully we'll see good in
Thank you,
future.
sir. We live witnessed a miracle. You just amplified his aspirations right in front of us. You energized us, all of us, and you gave so many tips that sort of covered the 2-day conference that we are having. So it's a perfect event to have at the end. Thank you so much.